Good evening. We're going to call to order the Tuesday, June 18th, 2024 regular board meeting for Competitive Edge Charter Academy. If you wouldn't mind. Stand for the pledge of allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And I will note that we do have two board members who are not with us this evening. Ms. Bannister and Ms. Coate were unable to attend, so we do have a quorum with 3 board members, so we will proceed. 1.04 is the approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda? Move to approve. I have a motion by board member Bob Miller and a second by board member Debbie Miller. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Chair votes aye. Passes unanimously. Advisory committee report. Mr. Mead.
Right, and so we went over our last report last week, but once again, just as a review, going over our LCAP and our budget overview for parents, which is part of our presentation.
Okay, great. Okay, so we're going to move into the LCAP, and Mr. Mead, please.
Good evening, Board President Stanley, members of the board, and Superintendent Binks, members of cabinet. Thank you for having me here this evening. We're going to be talking about our local control and accountability plan as we wrap up the last 3-year cycle and begin our next 3-year cycle. So we'll just jump right in. This is a plan that we start the year and end the year talking about our LCAP. And this is just a kind of a budget overview and an overview of the entire LCAP itself. When we talk about our LCAP, we're talking about a percentage of our overall funding. And so we're really talking about our supplemental and concentration grant. And so we're looking at that $547,796 that is earmarked for our populations of low-income English learners and foster youth. And so you notice our goals are really focused on those subgroups. We're going to look at 13 different actions and 31 metrics that go along with those actions. So as I said, the development process starts and ends our school year. And so we try to use a lot of data throughout the year. Every meeting we come together, we talk about the actions and the goals that we set as a group, as a parent community advisory committee. And we talk about the data, most current data we have, and where we're at in our actions and spending for that. So that starts back in the fall and winter. And then throughout the school year, we have educational partner meetings. So our most obvious group is our parent advisory committee report, because that's who's here every time we have our board meetings. But we also have our school site leadership team. We have our ELAC committee. We have our CSEA and YCJUSD representatives at both of those entities. And then we also have student meetings throughout the school year. Our counselors, part of our parent community advisory committee. So everyone has their fingers in on what's going on and is a part of the process. We developed a plan throughout the school year, constantly kind of redirecting those funds. You'll notice that a lot of the goals and the action steps are kind of like umbrellas, so we can pivot when things aren't going well. And so those are things that we look at throughout the school year as we get more information. For example, our STAR reading, our STAR math scores may cause a pivot for us. And then after we develop that, or look at that plan throughout the school year, we come back during the June board meeting to review and, like tonight, start a new cycle. So just again, our educational partners, not only our PCAC or Parent Community Advisory Committee, but our school site council. We'll do surveys. We do official surveys right along with the entire school district at the end of the year, but we actually do surveys around big holidays. So things like winter break, spring break. We'll do little short surveys with students or with our families to kind of gauge where things are at. We also do a weekly podcast, and that's preceded by a survey that goes out to families with concerns or areas of need. And so we really feel like not only transparent, but a lot of opportunities for our families to provide input. All right, so goal number 1 under the umbrella of meaningful learning opportunities. All CECA students will demonstrate growth towards meeting or exceeding standards in English language arts, and English learners will demonstrate progress in developing English language proficiency. We have 3 actions in this area with 11 progress metrics. And out of that $547,000, this goal will be using $201,156, about 36% of the budget. Here's our metrics, and these are tied to, some of this data is old data from last school year's 22-23 CAF scores. We'll be looking at our ELA scores. We'll be looking at this next year, our PSAT 8-9 participation rate. I want to do a better job of giving students that longitudinal view, college and career readiness, and PSAT 8-9 is one way to start that conversation. We're going to include our CAS test this year, our California Science Test, as well as our ELA STAR results, our ELPI, so that includes our English learner growth each year, and then our family engagement surveys throughout the school year.
Joe, the
Yes.
the PSAT, that's voluntary, correct?
It's voluntary,
Yeah.
right?
Okay.
So 24% of our students took it this last year,
Right.
and we're
Yeah.
hoping to grow
Right.
that. Yes. And then our actions for this goal, our full-time intervention specialist, funding comes out of this, and really her job has really changed over the last couple of years, which is really a testament to what she's done. She's our tier 3 specialist for reading, but her job is changing in that she's starting to take on a bigger role when it comes to first best instruction. And that's our goal, is to have fewer students in our intervention system and more students receiving the instruction they need at the front end. And so she's done a lot with our teachers as far as the science of reading and applying our learning in the classroom, and also with our parent education nights. I don't know if you guys are on our Instagram, but our intervention specialists and our TOA really partnered up to do little bits of learning, which are little videos that demonstrated some things that parents can do at home to mimic the learning in the classroom with their students. Also, our full-time librarian does a fantastic job, not just checking out books. She really has a pulse on what students should be reading as far as their level, what their AR scores are, so that they're challenged but also feel success. She's also a big part of our exhibition and community project when it comes to research skills, citing skills, things like that. So she does much more than just checking out books.
Explain AR, Joe.
So Accelerated Reader is part of the Renaissance STAR program, and so students are given a reading level based on how they do on their AR quizzes. And that way that they're challenged, but they're not, it's not a reading level above where they can be successful. And so that gives them an opportunity to go into the library and not just randomly be searching for books, but to get something that's appropriate for them. And then the last piece there was professional development. For certificated and classified, we've really pushed the classified piece for our evaluations this year, that one of their goals is that everyone will have at least one opportunity for professional development throughout the school year, because we have that 5-year cycle for our certificated. We want our classified to be on that same cycle. And so this helps to supplement that along with our educator effectiveness grant. All right, goal number 2, also under meaningful learning opportunities. All CECA students will demonstrate growth towards meeting or exceeding standards in mathematics. So right along with that ELA goal, this particular goal is $86,096 of that total supplemental grant funding, which is about 16%. There's 2 actions and 6 metrics that go along with this particular goal. We're going to use our CAS data from the math side of things. We're going to include that PSAT 8-9 participation rate as well here, and then STAR and CFA data, as well as access to a broad course of study. We do offer our students honors math classes, interventions, and accelerations before, during, and after school as well at the elementary level. Right, our actions. This is our teacher on assignment who really partners well with our intervention specialist. Our teacher on assignment, if you didn't know, as opposed to having a dean on campus, we went with our TOA because we want our focus to be on instruction. We feel like if instruction is going well and our students are academically successful, that behavior won't be the biggest issue, and so won't be a big issue. And so we really focused on that, and part of her salary is coming from our LCAP, not her entire salary. And then as well as updated instructional technology, $18,000 is going towards tech, which I know is not a ton, especially when one computer card's about $11,000. But we are on the technology cycle with Mr. Kirkland, and so we want to contribute where we can. Goal number 3, this is under support family and community engagement. CECA will increase student, parent, community engagement and support programs that foster a stronger, more positive connection between school and home. There are 5 actions under this with 8 different metrics for a total of $41,754. This is an area we feel like when it comes to connections to school on the side of activities and events, we're doing great. But we want to increase the academic side. And from our family engagement surveys, although students or parents really felt strongly that we did well in a lot of areas, one thing that was echoed multiple times was wanting to know where my students at more consistently as opposed to just at trimesters, just at report cards. A lot of them pointing to teachers who use things like weekly reports and things like that. And so we want to pivot a little bit to this being not only having those events when people are there, but using that connection to also build their capacity for supporting their student academically and knowing where their student is. One thing we've noticed is we have such a chunk of kids that are at that nearly met range, nearly met. So if you looked at our kids, 80, 90% are nearly met or above, right? But we have this big chunk that are right at that nearly met. And we really want to partner with our parents to see if we can't get to that tipping point, get those kids above that line. So some of the metrics that go along with this is our average daily attendance, our chronic absenteeism, suspension rates, our average family engagement hours submitted, and our family engagement survey results throughout the school year. All right, so here are our actions. We're going to continue the IB International Baccalaureate Primary Years and Middle Years program. They've increased their prices along with a lot of other things, but we feel that it is a great skeleton network for us that has really guided our school and really changed my perception of what education means and the connection to the community and the importance of finding that connection from the classroom to helping others. Continue to implement positive behavior interventions and supports. It may look a little bit different for us because we don't necessarily maybe have vaping or fights, but what we do have is students who maybe don't have the tools to deal with social emotional conflicts, social emotional struggles. And so it may look a little bit different on our campus, but PBIS really provides a great framework that fits well with IB. Provide an extracurricular sports coordinator. This person also falls under some of our ELOP funding for the school year, but this person does things throughout the school day as well, providing things like sporting events during lunches for our elementary students, supporting students intervention-wise or acceleration-wise. They cast a wide net. Continue to provide support materials for numerous interventions, both academic and social and emotional. And as funding kind of changes, some of the tools and tricks that we have on our campus are going to shift for us to cover. And so this allows us to do that. And then continue to provide activities such as STEAM Nights and Read Across America Day that open campus for family connections. So that's that academic side. We want to be able to pay our teachers to stay and put on different events for our families so they build relationships with families, but we also have that academic focus at fun events. Then goal number 4, supporting student engagement. CECA will implement measures to foster positive school environments and support students. This is 3 actions, 6 progress metrics, and it's $218,790. And this will focus again on our average daily attendance or ADA, our chronic absenteeism, suspension rate, assertive discipline issues. I just want to point out here, there's 141 of them. And that's not normal for us, but what we've been doing is using ARIES for data. And so when students not necessarily didn't have to be a referral, but as I was talking to students, I would log it under assertive discipline so that our PBIS team could look at that data and see grade levels, locations, and common infractions that we were seeing so that we could focus in on it. So we used it as a data tool. And so there are much more entries to provide a bigger picture for our committee and for our staff. And then a percentage of students receiving tier 2 and tier 3 instruction, and we really want to see those percentages go down as we improve and adapt our first best instruction. All right, our actions. This is our full-time counselor, and I don't get to see what other counselors are doing, but I can tell you that Ms. Brasher is in classrooms more than I've ever seen a counselor, and it's always lessons on dealing with your emotions. And I think I've told you before, I used to kind of make fun of it a little bit. I thought it was silly, but we see a first grader out there that's got upset because someone tagged him too hard, and then he's doing the shark fin thing and breathing, you realize that that what she's doing in the classroom, the tool she's showing them is effective. And so so she has a wide-ranging effect on our students. And then this year, I want to provide a bigger starting budget for our Where Everyone Belongs class. So that's our 5th to 6th grade transition class, our 8th graders, and our student leaders. I think everyone here knows Coach Hurst and Ms. Berneo and how much leadership they provide to their kids, who then trickle it down to our campus. They have their hands in everything, and they've really taken on some great leadership roles, and it has very positive effects everywhere. And so I want to give them a bigger sandbox to kind of start the year with, and kind of let them do some things that have been in their minds that we just maybe haven't had the budget to do. And then social emotional support opportunities. Like I said, Ms. Brasher has a lot of opportunities in the school day to work in classrooms. I want to give her a toolkit and some funding available to do some great things in the school day, and even maybe outside of the school day a little bit. That's it. Any questions?
Any questions for Mr. Mead? Go ahead, Bob.
Thank you, Mike. Just questions. Joey, it just looks like you got a great school there. I mean, the community issues, the outreach, the cancer walk, the things that happen. Obviously, your discipline's really down, even though you entered somebody on Aries for 141 cases, but I'm sure they weren't aberrant or heavy. So, it's working, whatever you're doing. I know it's a lot of, it's everybody together, just going on your campus. There's just a good feeling when you walk on, and keep doing what you're doing with your staff. You got a great staff there. Good students, good families, everybody supports. That's important. So just keep it up. You guys are doing a great job. Enjoy your summer. Get rejuvenated. Get ready for next year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Okay. All right, so recommendations being made to approve the Petovich Charter Academy's LCAP. Do I have a motion to approve it? I have a motion by Board Member Debbie Miller, and I'll second the item. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. It passes unanimous. Now we're going on to the consent calendar. Do I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
Move to approve.
Got a motion by Board Member Bob Miller, second by Board Member Debbie Miller. All those in favor say aye.
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 Chair votes aye. It passes 3-0. And now we're going on to the school dashboard report. Mr. Mead.
Thank you again. And continuing on, so we're still talking about the school dashboard, and there are portions of the school dashboard where we get to kind of enter our own narrative, and it's not just based on numbers. And so tonight we're going to share some of that information. So the dashboard, like we said, contains reports that display the performance of our school. As I try to tell our staff all the time, sometimes it feels a little bit unfair. You're kind of like, man, we're working so hard and we don't feel like these numbers represent us. But that shows again how important it is that we put in the work. And you always hope that those numbers represent that. And so tonight we're going to share a little bit more about some other parts of the dashboard. So performance indicators. The State Board of Education approves standards for the local indicators that support the LEA in measuring and reporting progress within the appropriate priority area. So these are things, like I said, that we enter on our own. And so we're going to show you those different priority areas and how we get there. Priority 1, basic conditions at school. So this is looking at the percentage of appropriately assigned teachers, access to curriculum, aligned instructional materials, and safe, clean, functional school facilities. Priority 2 is looking at the implementation of the state academic standards. Priority 3, parent engagement. This measure addresses receiving parent input in the decision-making process. In the local climate survey, we're going to see the student side and how they're viewing their school and their learning experience. And last is just the access to a broad course of study that students are exposed not only to core classes, but beyond. So in priority 1, basic conditions at school, you see that we had 0 findings when it came to misassignments of teachers, 0 when it comes to students without access to copies of their standard-based curriculum, and 0 findings in the area of identified instances where facilities did not meet the good repair standard. For priority 2, this is where our leadership team sits down and we look at some different areas and we get to kind of assess ourselves and how well we're doing in those areas. And I remember when someone told me that this is going to be easy, you're going to sit down and you guys will agree and it'll be fine. But this always turns into a big debate in the different areas. And so in area of item 1, we're rating ourselves as far as providing professional learning for our teachers when it comes to their curriculum. And it's on a scale of 1 to 5. And we agreed on a 4. And I don't think we'll ever get to a 5 in any of these areas. We feel like we do a great job, but things are changing. For us, especially a lot, we had kind of the same staff for a long time, and we've had a lot of change recently. And so I think when I think about something like math mindset training, when we go through professional development, lesson studies, and then you get a big change, maybe it's 1 or even like this year, 2 new grade level teachers. And so I think that's what we were reflecting on is, are we ready to simply have a new teacher step in and they're ready to go? Item 2, making instructional materials that are aligned to the recently adopted academic standards. And we improved in this area. Working on the new social studies adoption was the one area that kind of held us back last year, but we feel like we're in a good place. Item 3, ranking our progress in implementing policies or programs to support staff in identifying areas where they can improve in delivering instruction. And in this area, we do feel like we do a good job of identifying students with a lot of different backgrounds, validating those backgrounds, and actually not only bringing them into the school, but then allowing us to learn more about them and actually apply it to kind of our school family. Item 4, ranking our progress in implementing each of the following standards. We really feel like we're doing well, understanding our curriculum, understanding our standards, and now it's having understanding where the students can now demonstrate those standards as well consistently. And then item 5, ranking our progress, engaging the following activities: teachers and school administrators providing opportunities on campus. We really felt like that was a area of strength. Priority 3, parent engagement. So this was on a 1 to 5 scale as well, and it was for our families in these areas to let us know how we were doing. We felt like our families were very positive, and like I said, the one thing that kept coming back was the desire to consistently be included in how well academically students were doing. That was really echoed throughout. Otherwise, we're 95% or above in each of our areas as far as families feeling connected, families feeling heard, families feeling like their students were supported. Local climate survey. And so this year we did something a little bit different. We jumped in with everyone in all the students in the district. And so as we looked at this report, we kind of teased out things that we've learned from our students throughout the school year as well. And we always look at the areas we can grow. There's a lot of positive. So what I pulled out here were areas where our students felt like we could do better. And so some major themes from the elementary responses included the following. Positive school environment. What they were talking about was bullying at the elementary level. And looking at some of the comments, I don't know that we would identify it as bullying. It is how to handle when you're having a conflict. How do you handle when someone says something mean to you? How do you handle when your feelings are hurt? How do you respond? And so it's that social emotional piece we felt, and communicating with empathy towards others. Approved facilities. This one's kind of funny, but it's the drinking water, and our drinking water it has bubbles in it. And so if you look at it, it looks it's white when it comes out, but it's totally fine to drink. Yeah, our water is something that comes up. I drink it. It seems fine to me. But that's one thing that was commented on a couple of times. And then better school meals, and really what they're talking about is choice. And I think one problem is the elementary kids see that the middle school kids get a different menu, and they have some a la carte items. And so I love our child nutrition services. I think they do an amazing job. And so I think that's more just kind of looking over the fence sort of thing. Some major themes from middle school include the following. On the teaching and learning piece, I think we've heard this loud and clear. It's just too much computer time, too much technology. We kind of need to come back to balance with that. And, you know, being a part of Summer Jumpstart this school year, teachers are totally on board with that. And we kind of set kind of an expectation for, hey, this is how much time max we want to be on computers. And honestly, it's been really refreshing to walk through classrooms and see students up collaborating and moving around and doing some different things and not looking at a screen. And so we hear that loud and clear. Student behaviors. If I always tell my staff, if I had a dime for every time I heard a kid say what is it they say? I was just joking. And so that was a lot of that. There's kids in middle school, especially, they'll cross a line. They'll say something that crosses the line. I was joking with my buddy, and then I said something, and now they're upset with me. And so it was, once again, kind of that relationship piece. Improved facilities, mostly talking about unstructured time, interestingly enough. Things to do during unstructured time, balls, things like that. School policies. This is one I think we're going to fight for a while now. It's more and more prevalent right now. I was just reading in the news, but cell phone policies, not allowing cell phones, which I think is great. I think it's awesome to see kids talking to each other, not looking at their cell phones. And then our dress code. And it's always going to be a thing, our dress code, but it solves a lot of issues for us. And honestly, it's really not that big of a deal. And then overall student well-being is just that anxiety, learning how to deal with that anxiety, and social pressure was something that was on students' minds. And then access to a broad course of study. So we have our honestly, our core classes are English, Math, Social Studies, History, Science, things like that. But at CECA, all of our students also have Spanish, art, music. Through our electives, there's so many leadership opportunities. There really is a huge menu of choices for our students to participate in. So I felt like we met this priority. Questions?
Questions for Mr. No. Oh, thank you, Joe. Oh, sorry, Debbie, go ahead.
Just to go back. On priority 2, you kept saying we rated. Who's we?
So it's our leadership team. So it's myself, my 2 IB coordinators, so Jen Stahl and Kristen Bernier, my counselor, teacher on assignment, and then our librarian is a part of that. And then we also had, we don't have a lead URBD aide, but we have someone who's kind of the unofficial lead who would be a part of those as well.
Cool.
And so we kind of throw it out to everybody, and that's why I think it turns into an argument, because one perception is a little bit different, so, which is a good thing. That's okay.
And then the parent engagement, it says 119 responses. What, I think that's something I think the whole district struggles with, is getting parents to engage in surveys or whatever. It's so important. I mean, although 119 is a lot, it's not still.
No, we have about 270 families.
Yes. Oh, that's not bad. That's not bad. Anyways, I love that you do that.
Yeah, I wish, you know, I think, I forget who I was talking to, but when things are going well, it's hard to get engagement sometimes. Yeah. I feel like, you know, and so we gotta
That's the way to spin it,
develop some
Joe.
problems.
Yeah. All right, thank you very much.
All right, thanks, Joe. Thank you. Any more information, Joe, at all tonight, or anybody? No? Okay, board member comments? Oh, go, sorry, go for it.
Sorry, because I was going to make a comment about Joe, because we have a small audience and it won't embarrass him too much. But when Joe commented on Jumpstart, our summer school program, every year we say to Joe, we're going to hire a principal to cover Jumpstart. And every year he says no, and he does it continually. And he said, I'm on my campus. I want to do it. I want to be with the kids. And we always say you have your closing of the year. So Joe, thank you for always, you know, we want to give you your time, but we appreciate your commitment to your school and to the kids.
All right, thank you. Anything else? Okay. Board Member Bob Miller, any comment?
Just thank you for everything and thank you for what you.
I've never seen you so well behaved, Joe. You ought to bring your wife to all these meetings. That's good. Okay, thanks for everything. Thanks for being here, and we are adjourned. Yeah. Thank you. We're going to call to order the June 18th, 2024 YCJUSD Unified School District Regular Board of Education meeting. And if you wouldn't mind standing and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready to begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I will note that Board Member Kathy Coate and Board Member Sharon Bannister were unable to join us this evening, but we do have a quorum of 3 out of 5. 3.04 is approval of the agenda. Are there any changes to the agenda?
No, not this evening.
Okay, hearing none. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as presented?
Move to approve.
I got a motion by board member Bob Miller, a second by board member Debbie Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. There's nothing from closed session. And we do have one person here for public comment. And it's good to see you, Neil. Mr. Wayner, come on up. Welcome.
So Board Chair Snellings, trustees, Superintendent Banks, it's great to be here. My name is Neil Wayner. I live on Golden West Drive in Redlands. I will not take 3 minutes. Calamasa Unified is one of 6 districts I'm going to say hello. Why am I doing that? Because for 13 years, I sat in your seat as a trustee at Redlands Unified. And for 8 of those 13 years, my father was on the school board at the county with Herb Fisher and Gary Thomas. And so the reason I'm swinging by the 6 districts represented in Area E is to introduce myself, say hello, and let you know that I am running for my dad's old seat on the county school board this fall. So I want you to be able to make a personal connection with the face and the name. I want you to feel comfortable reaching out to me. I have sat in your seat, so I know what the county brings to you as far as resources and support. We do not tell you what to do and how to run your school district. It is your school district. I respect that. And Mike is bigger than me, so of course. So anyway, that's it. My campaign is up. It's neilwayner.com. You can see the endorsements, and I think I really look forward to working with you. Thanks.
All right, thank you, Neil. Okay, now we're moving on to our board committee reports. CRIROC, board member Debbie Miller.
All right, there's not too much. A few highlights from our district. Ukiah High School Emergency Services Pathways conducted their annual disaster day. That's cool. And then Ukiah High School's Certified Medical Assistant Pathway will have 17 students hosted by Arrowhead Regional Medical Center for a clinical internship, which is amazing. It's so nice that they work with us, work with CRIROC. And then Ukiah High School, Oakview, and the Criminal Justice Pathways visited the School of Public Safety Showcase at Moreno Valley College. So they're always doing really great things and programs. Something that I heard, and I'm going to push that one of the employees, one of the teachers, I believe his name is Ronnie, he has his students in his classes do a portfolio. I'm going to be pushing that because I think that is such a great idea for them when they graduate, because there's so much good that comes out of CRIROC. And if they have a nice portfolio as they work through the years in their programs, what a great part of their resume. So
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you, board member Debbie Miller. Okay, now we're moving on to our discussion action session. 6.01 is to approve a resolution ordering the school district election. Do I have a motion for approval?
I move to approve it.
I have a motion by board member Bob Miller. I'll second it. Any discussion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes 3-0. The next item is the 2024-2025 proposed budget. Dr. Bremen, do you have a presentation regarding this, or we're just gonna?
No.
You presented last week, and okay, just want to make sure you don't have anything else to add. Okay. Do I have a motion to approve the 2024-2025 proposed budget as presented?
So moved.
I have a motion by board member Debbie Miller. Second.
I'll second.
Second by board member Bob Miller. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I vote aye. It passes 3-0. 6.03 is the EPA spending plan. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll move to approve.
I have a motion by board member Bob Miller. I'll second the item. Any discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes 3-0. Number 6.04 is the substantiation of need for excess of the minimum recommended reserve for economic uncertainties. Dr. Freeman.
No, I'm just gonna.
Okay. Got it. Okay, all those, I'm sorry, I'll take a motion to approve 6.04. Motion by board member Debbie Miller, second.
I'll second.
By board member Bob Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it passes unanimously. 6.05 is a resolution for annual special tax. Dr. Reed.
Thank you. President Snelling, members of the board, Mrs. Minks, thanks for the opportunity to quickly talk about developer fees and share a little bit about why this resolution is before you. So if we can flip the page, there we go. So developer fees are paid to the school district when development is made in our school district boundaries. So that's residential and or commercial. The idea is that as students move in, we need more facilities for our students. We do have a special tax in our district. I'll talk about that. But in Yucaipa, Calamasa, we have two separate fees, and that's not the case in most school districts. Most school districts on the bottom have level 1 fees. That's standard, and I'll share what that is. But we are special in that we have a community facilities district number 1 fee. So when you talk about developer fees in our district boundaries, there's two sets of fees that people pay, for example, if they want to build a house or a community. So let's talk about the first set of fees. So level 1 fees are established by the state of California. They're what we're allowed to collect. They're considered like the basic level of developer fees. They can go up every 2 years. So currently, we could be collecting for a residential property $5.17 per square foot. That was a new rate in January of 2024. Our current rate in Yucaipa, Calamasa, in the blue box you can see there, is 3.79. So the last time we raised level 1 fees, which we can do, was in 2018. And I'll share a little bit about why we didn't raise them. But that 3.79 per square foot is allowed by the state, and it could have gone up in 2020, could have gone up in 2022, could go up in 2024. At any time, if we feel like we want to increase those, then we go out and do a fee analysis study. We hire someone to look at it and do a fee justification study, and we could raise those developer fees from 379 to 517 if the study came out okay. So that's level 1. So every district in California, I'd say 99% of districts in California charge a level 1 fee for someone to build a home. That's not unique to Yucaipa, Calamasa. What's unique to us is that we haven't raised them in 6 years.
Real quick.
Yes.
Okay, so the current rates are 517, but we're at 379. We could go up to 517. It just we just haven't.
So back in 2020, we were in pandemic time. We have a different set of fees I want to talk about in a second. And so the board at that time chose not to raise the fees because we have another set of fees and we were in a pandemic. And
Sure.
the other thing is there's some new laws actually in level 1 fees. So you really have to justify. The only way you can spend this money is for anticipated student growth. So this money can't be used for modernization. This money can't be used to fix things. Level 1 fees are strictly for anticipated student growth. And we are going to be able to spend those finally. I'll share that at the end of the slides. But without student growth in a declining enrollment situation, it's also hard to justify the increase in level 1 fees if we think growth is going to happen 5 years from now, and it hasn't occurred.
Got it. Okay.
So this is the can only spend on student growth.
Okay.
Okay, next slide, please. So unique to Yucaipa, Calamasa Joint Unified School District is Community Facilities District number 1. So in 1989, the district went out for a community facilities district to the voters, and the voters approved it. Voter approved on March 7th of 1989. This is a special tax that can pay for construction, expansion, rehabilitation, or purchase of public capital facilities. I'll share what we've been doing with that. So this is a much more, We can use this for many more things. We can improve our facilities. I'll share what we have done with that money. So what that is, in order to prove when you buy your home, when a home is built, for 25 years, there's an annual tax on that home. Our home was built in 1997, for example, so we've stopped paying that. When we first moved in, we paid it for 15 years, and now we don't pay that fee, but for our 15 years we've been there. At the time, senior citizens were exempt, 65 or older, and so that was part of the initiative. That covers the senior citizen mobile home purpose. Not only is the tax A annual for 25 years, but tax B is a per square foot charge, and then tax C is a per square foot charge for commercial or industrial. So that's what's before you tonight, is to raise that. So the board really, I mean, you're voting on it, but the voters approved this in '89, and what we do is we look at July 1 engineering use record for LA County. That's what the benchmark is. And so if that goes up or down, then that's the increase we're bringing to the board tied to CFD1. And so you'll see that in a second. It did go up, and that's why we're bringing it to you to increase that fee. So currently, if we approve tonight on July 1, $608. If you built a home on July 1st, you would pay $608 annually in your property taxes for 25 years. Plus, you would pay $4.38 per square foot. And so when I say we didn't raise level 1 fees, because we had a choice, when you add level 1 fees and you add these fees, that's where we have a higher fees than a lot of surrounding districts. And then you can see 0.76. But I'll show you in a second what we do with that money and the need for it and the brilliance of that tax voter initiative back in 1989. Next slide. So give you for an example. So if I was buying a building house on July 1, 2024, 2,000 square foot home, I would pay level 1 fees. So that's $379 a square foot of $7,580. So $7,580 for level 1 fees. I'm also subject to the community facility district fees. So I would pay $4.38 per square foot. And then I would also be an annual fee for 25 years. So my total developer fees for that 2,000 square foot home is $16,340 plus the annual of $608. This is what, if you're building a 2,000 square foot home, it would cost you to build. Now, developers also pay city fees, and they also pay water fees. So that we're one of 3 fees that people pay to build a home in our school district.
The $4.38 square feet, is that also for 25 years or only that annual?
That's a one-time $4.30.
One time when they build.
Yes.
Got it. Okay.
And so that's where you get the 7,580 to 8,760. On the bottom there, it's 16,030, 16,340
yeah,
total one time, and then you have an annual fee. The annual fee for me, since the house was built in 1997, was lower because it's indexed on that LA County engineering record. So it goes up or down. Any questions? Okay, next slide. So let's talk about what we use level 1 fees for. So we haven't, remember, related to school district ability to accommodate enrollment. So we have an estimated balance of $6.5 million in level 1 fees. Just the 10 modular classrooms we're looking at Calamasa and Dunlap, that's going to cost us $6 million. So we anticipate enrollment at Calamasa and Dunlap. There's projects going on in both the city of Dunlap and the city of Yucaipa. So that's going to take care of all level 1 fees. And so that money will have $500,000 left. As people build, obviously that more money would come in. But basically that's going to take care of any sort of significant level 1 fees we have. And we haven't been able to use that because we haven't seen growth. And now that we have anticipated growth, we're allowed to use that money for those projects. Next slide. Go back.
Sorry.
Yeah, go on, please.
You said estimated balance, and now that we have growth, we need to use it. Where's it been sitting?
It's been sitting in an account. It's been in our budget for years. sitting there and just collecting, just getting larger and larger.
Woo-hoo.
Yeah, and so we're able to afford that.
Okay, thank
Excellent. So this is a little community facilities district. Remember, this was 1989. So what has this done? Contributed to the construction of Ridgeview and Parkview Elementary School and Parkview Middle School. There was an addition, the Q building at Kappa High School. That money contributed to that. Calamasa Valley and Wildwood Elementary Schools multi-purpose rooms. And then I don't have that in there, but it was also the gymnasium at Mason Middle School. When we built Mason Middle School, we used $1 million of the CFP1 money to help with building the gymnasium there. So what have we used it for in the past few years? Roofing. So you can see Dunlap, Green Valley, Oakview Valley, and Ucaipa High School roofing. We use it for parking lot security gates. And we're also using it for the Ucaipa High School softball field and weight room. So I didn't put that in here, but we had a estimated balance of $8 million. And this will go down to, we're thinking about $2 million, $4 million, maybe 1 point, depending on how the bids come in. So you can see we're using this money. Now this is much more flexible. We can use this for upgrades. You can see the roofing here. We couldn't use level 1 fees for roofing, but we can use that for rehabilitation of our schools. So that's why we use it for roofing. So we're using this money, and so we'll see, hopefully the building continues, and as we have more building, we'll have more funds to support our school. But when this money runs out, we're specialty type because we have this, right? The voters approved this. Other districts who don't have this, that's where we look at bonds, those types of things, facility bonds. And as this money depletes, and we don't have these resources to do this roofing and all these projects, this funding won't be an option. Any questions?
Go ahead. You got you. Go ahead.
Yeah, I listened to the city's budget meeting last night. They held at the YPAC. What's your conversations with the city on any future developments between Calamasa and Ucaipa districts? What are we looking at for any housing developments?
We're looking at quite a few, we call them infill projects. We're looking at some apartment complexes. We're looking at some townhomes. So some things have been approved. Calamasa recently revised their zoning to allow for some more houses coming around Calamasa. So that townhomes, apartments. So that's why we're looking at modulars there. Also in Dunlap, nothing is broke ground yet, but we're anticipating that. But yeah, so I'd say we're looking at anywhere from 100 to 200 students in these current projects, possibly for next year. None of them will open before October or November next year if all things go well.
And Dr. Freeman, I appreciate the way you did the slideshow this year. It's all the questions I asked you last year. I appreciate that. Because predominantly our DIF fees are pretty high compared to other school districts, right?
They are, correct.
Okay. And a lot of that money sits in anticipation. If we ever grow, we can build maybe a new high school or something. But that doesn't look like it at this point, what our trends are. But we have the other fees that we can use to do what we've been doing is trying to repair what we have and to move forward. And I think when you hear DIF fees, everybody gets especially the folks that want to build development, they're going to try to, they're going to ask about that. I'm sure they have before. I just want to make sure we have the right answer when the questions come to us. There are good developers that work around us and build these beautiful, developments that will occur one day around us, which will will affect our ADA, no doubt about it, which we're funded by. So it's a tricky question because when I first came on the board, I asked Dr. Freeman, I said, don't we have the highest DIF fees and what can we use them for? And they were kind of, you couldn't use it for much unless we were going to build a new school, right? But you found a way with all the other fees that we can use to do some repairs, build some things. So we've had to judiciously do that because we've actually used it for the good. And when did modulars go up so much, Dr. Freeman? I mean, what is the flip on that? And that'll be my last question. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, when I started 5 years ago, we were looking at $250,000 for a modular building. Now we're looking at $440,000. And we went out and our architects looked at several options. And so, yeah, we'll bring to you something in the neighborhood of 10 portables for $4.4 million. Just the buildings themselves, that doesn't include that installation. So those are the three companies we've looked at. It's the cheapest price we have. That'll come before the board, but yeah, it's been kind of a really steep.
And for our public, that's a need, not a want. We do
Absolutely.
need these portables.
Absolutely.
We've been kind of, you know, waiting for that, actually.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, any more questions? Okay, I'll take a motion for approval of the increases as presented.
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
I have a motion by board member Debbie Miller, a second by board member Bob Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
The chair votes aye, passes unanimously. Thank you for that, Eric.
Thank you.
Okay, 6.06 is approval for asphalt repair and seal coating at Parkview Middle School on the California Street campus. Do I have a motion for approval?
I'll move to approve.
I'll second the item. Any questions or comments? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it passes 3-0. The next one is for fire alarm inspections and maintenance. Do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
I have a motion by board member Debbie Miller. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it passes 3-0. 6.08 is office modernization at Dunlap Elementary School. I'll move the item. Is there a second?
Second.
Do I have any questions or comment?
Dr. Freeman, the situation, it's kind of like a freeway running through the principal's office, right? Do I have that right?
Yeah, so Dunlap Elementary School, we addressed about 5 years ago, it's phase one. And phase one was the front office. So if you walk in and you see the three clerical setups, it's much better now. But what happened is there's no privacy to hold a parent meeting on the backside. And so this would be phase two, and complete that, make a couple offices for privacy. The principals had to be really flexible, and she's been great. And this is, you asked, we talked about community facilities district number one. This would be a cost associated with that.
Thank you.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'll vote aye, it passes 3-0. 6.09 is purchase of a Thermo King refrigeration unit. Do I have a motion for approval? I have a motion by board member Debbie Miller. Is there a second?
I'll second.
I have a second by board member Bob Miller. Any questions, comments? All those in favor say
I
aye.
had one question.
Oh, okay, go ahead, Bob. Sure.
The only thing when I read the staff report, they don't come, the truck you bought doesn't come with the refrigeration unit.
It was actually less expensive to buy the van
Really?
and then install the refrigeration unit.
There was no way to piggyback a truck that had that kind of unit with it.
Not for the price we can get for this thing.
All right, then good move.
Great. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it passes 3-0. 6.10 playground wood chips. I'll make a motion to approve this one. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion by me and a second by board member Debbie Miller. Questions, comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it passes 3-0. Number 611 is a food serving room inspirational graphics. I saw an example of those. So is there a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
I'll second the item. Any questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it passes 3-0. 6.12 is an intercom system for the California Street campus. Do I have a motion for approval?
So
A motion by board member Debbie Miller. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 3-0. 6.13 is our E-rate compliance services. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
And I'll second the item. Any questions or comments?
Dr. Freeman, can you explain that to us once again with E-rate compliances?
Yeah, absolutely. So Dr. Brown back there is a champion of this. She started this when she was in technology, but it's a way for school districts to access federal money and get 60 cents on the dollar reimbursed. And so she started that, Mr. Kirkland continued. So for example, if we had $1 million in technology infrastructure, we'd only pay $400,000. And so this is a company that submits our E-rate, and we'll be eligible for E-rate in the upcoming year. So it's a great opportunity for our schools.
Thank you very much.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye, it passes 3-0. Next is a piggyback for child nutrition services. Do I have a motion for approval?
moved.
I have a motion by Board Member Debbie Miller. I'll second the item. Any questions or comments related to this? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes unanimously, 3-0, I'm sorry. 615 is another piggyback for legal bids and contracts for child nutrition services. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve, Mr. Sell.
I just would like to mention that this is the Old Grove Farm, so we had them present. And
Yeah,
so
yes.
this is our piggyback opportunity to
Oh,
continue
good.
working with them next year.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. I'm sorry, do I have a motion to approve?
Move to approve.
And I'll second the item. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes 3-0. Next is the approval of the 2024-2025 LCAP plan. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
And I'll second the item. Any questions or comments?
I had one question from the presentation. Did we ever get the canine detection numbers? Were we able to get that, Dr. Anderson?
Yes, I included that in the Friday letter last week by site, and then also included it by incident as well.
Do we have it just per chance
Not with me tonight.
for public? Okay, that's fine. Thank you.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. 6.17 is the federal addendum to the LCAP. I have a motion for approval. And I'll second the item. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I'll vote aye. Passes 3-0. Number 6.18 is to review and approve some single plans for student achievement for some of our schools. Motion to approve.
Move to approve.
I have a motion by Board Member Bob Miller, second by Board Member.
Me.
Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes 3-0. 6.19 is to assign some administrators to our hearing panel. I will make a motion to approve. Is there a second? Got a motion and a second. Any questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. The next one is for some cloud services and maintenance support for a network with Cisco. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
Motion by Board Member Bob Miller. I'll second the item. Any questions or comments? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes 3-0. 6.21 is another purchase for our network. Do I have a motion for approval? A motion by Board Member Debbie Miller, second Bob.
Second.
Okay. Any questions or comments? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes 3-0. The next one is Vector USA Managed Technology Services. Do I have a motion for approval?
Move to approve.
A motion by Board Member Bob Miller. I'll second the item. Any questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes 3-0. 6.23 is to contract out, to have a memo of an understanding with South Coast Community Services. I'll move approval. Is there a second?
Second.
Any questions or comments related to this? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Passes 3-0. 6.24 is Soliant Health Client Services Agreement. This is to provide a virtual speech language pathologist with some of our staffing needs. Do I have a motion for approval? Motion by Board Member Debbie Miller. I'll second the item. Any questions or comments? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. It passes unanimously. The consent calendar, is there any item or any items that any board member would like considered separately on the consent calendar? No? Okay. I'll take a motion to approve the consent calendar.
Move to approve the consent calendar as written.
Have a motion by Board Member Bob Miller. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Board Member Debbie Miller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Passes 3-0. Now we're moving on to the district school dashboard local indicators report. I believe that Mr. Kirkland is going to be presenting this. Is that correct? Hey, Shad.
How are you? Snellings, members of the board, Superintendent Binks, and Cabinet. Thank you for having me. A fun night of LCAP and budget, so we'll round it out with local measures. So Dr. Anderson is working diligently right now to align with our site and our district priorities, how we spend money to support student achievement. So that's a pretty monumental task. This is one piece of it because it is input that comes in from our different educational partners, our students, our parents, our teachers, our administrators. So it's kind of nice. It is qualitative data that I'm going to be presenting tonight. I'll be submitting after hopefully approval, and I'm going to present that to you. So I'm not going to read everything to you as we go, but I'll go ahead and kind of explain what it is. And I think you have the full presentation and data set in front of you. So the entire LCAP has the 10 priorities. And I think you've kind of already seen these. If you're looking for some light reading before bedtime, these are all links. You can look at them in great detail from the CDE. The local indicators specifically address priorities 2, 3, 5, and 6. Why 4 skipped and why they're in that order, I couldn't tell you. But I'm going to go ahead and kind of just address those real quick and tell you the data sets that you have available to you this evening. So the first one is priority 2. Priority 2 asks us to evaluate our progress in all our content standards areas. All the ones you see on there on the left, and there's going to be the ones you expect to see. English, math, social studies, science, foreign language, or world languages, health, visual performing arts, and the development of our EO programs. We're asked to do it in accordance to these criteria. Professional learning for teachers, curriculum frameworks, instructional materials, academic standards, policies and programs to support staff, and implementation and engagement. So we were asked to evaluate how we're doing those criteria on a scale, on a metric. So again, I'm not going to go over each one of these, but I'll probably go into a little bit greater detail on this particular one, just so you have the scale. So we are asked to go ahead and rate our progress towards professional learning and teaching to recently adopted academic standards in these particular areas. On the scale, we got 1, exploration and research phase, which means we're just starting. 2 would be beginning development. 3 would be initial implementation. 4, full implementation. And 5 is full implementation and sustainability. So in this particular category, you can see the individual scores that we gave for those content areas. We rated ourselves at 3.6 overall. The next one, section 2, is making instructional materials available that are adopted to the recent academic standards. And again, we did an overall very good job. The only limitation to being perfect on this one is funding, because you can't adopt everything all the time, every single time that standards rolled out from CDE. Doesn't mean we have to go buy the materials that align with it. So we do the best we can to always keep our materials up and fresh and forward. Overall, we did very well. We gave ourselves a 3.6. The 2 is obviously notable in this particular one, especially with all the work that Ms. Jackson did this last year with social studies adoption. We did a great job. We're very, very optimistic about what that's going to do for our social science teachers next year, but it wasn't K-12. It was a secondary adoption. So we just didn't have it for everybody. That's the only thing that prevented us from going to higher school. The next one is implementing policies and programs to support staff and identifying areas where they can improve delivery of instruction. On this particular one, again, we give ourselves a 3.4 overall rating. Again, with social science being the lowest score of the 2. And again, that's because we can't do it district-wide, just but again, optimistic about what it means for our secondary sites, and then obviously hoping to expand what that means for our elementaries in the near future. The next category is implementing each of the following academic standards adopted by the state for all students. This is one that we have a lot of pride in. This is a lot of the work that we do with our academies, especially with ROP and the courses that they offer in regards to the CT. Overall, 4.2. The outlier in this one is our health education content standards. We don't have a dedicated health curriculum, but we do the health requirements as prescribed in the Health Youth Act, as well as the stuff that's embedded in the 9th grade biology classes at the high schools. So again, see that one coming up anytime real soon, unless there's some major changes coming in education requirements. And the last one is basically how we do in identifying professional learning needs for groups of teachers, identifying the professional learning needs of individual teachers, and providing support for teachers on standards they have not yet mastered. We do believe we have a pretty robust assessment program and have created lots of opportunities for teachers to work with one another as well as their administrative staffs on addressing those particular issues. And we gave ourselves all 4 of those categories. Do know that this is largely your educational services division that put input into this, and we're pretty hard on ourselves. So we're not very willing to give ourselves 5s because we are always a work in progress. That's the data as it pertains to priority 2. For priority 3, this is parent involvement and family engagement. This is done through survey that we send out in accordance to recommendations from the CECA. So this one has 3 sections. Again, it's on a 5-point scale, just like the previous priority is. The survey link is in there if you'd like to see in detail all the questions that were asked. So, but in that first section right there, which is building relationships between school staff and families, overall, we were rated by our families as a 3.95. Section 2, which is building partnerships for student outcomes. Again, overall, we did well. 3.65 was the overall average. And section 3, section 3 was seeking input for decision making. Overall, 3.78. What I do like is the same survey, or one very similar to what went out last year. All these numbers on average move to the positive direction. So communication was one of the key factors in making that needle move. So I think that was recognized by our current population.
What was the percentage of families that did the survey?
We had around 300 families that actually took the survey, over close to 650 on the student side, which is coming up on the side. We'd like to have more.
Oh.
Yeah. So the next priority, priority 5, is kind of a similar structure, but this one is now on the student side of things. You can see that the format will change a little bit. We use a different vehicle for obtaining this data. Again, thank you to Dr. Brown for actually doing this piece of it, because she put out the questionnaire in thought exchange, which is just like kind of any other survey, except for it's much more engaging, probably a lot more fun for students. There's a lot more interaction that goes along. So this one has to be a little bit more of a summary. So it kind of also notices themes, and it identifies that for us. But again, we have the full results that we can. So general themes for elementary school. And this is kind of nice from the student presentation that we had last week. We didn't notice a lot of the same things that they told us in thought exchange was exactly what was presented last week. So they believe that their school positive, each school has a very positive environment overall, but they do recognize bullying as a little bit of an issue. They would like to see improved facilities. For an elementary school kid, they're talking playmates. They don't want playmates. And better school meals. I've eaten the school meals. I don't know what they're asking for exactly, but that was a common statement here. Our middle schools, teaching and learning. Basically what that meant, if you actually read all the themes that came out with that one, they want more engaging classroom activities. And they do reference less time on technology. They like the use of technology, but they don't want it leaking, which I can appreciate. Student behaviors, they actually wanted stricter discipline for students who act out, was the theme on that one. Improved facilities, school policies, specifically dress code and cell phones, and student well-being. They want a better relationship with their teachers and the staff at school, and more opportunities to talk to people at home. High school, again, very similar to middle school. The teaching and learning piece, and again, the technology was a piece of it. They love having it. They don't want it all the time. Bathrooms was a consistent theme. The overall school environment, and believe it or not, even with a 8:30 start time, they will start later. So I was very surprised with that piece of it. And then priority 6 is school climate, and this is again the survey piece that came out, and there is basically a 3-point metric on this one: positive, neutral, or negative. And elementary, middle, and high school are all separated up from one another. And the 3 categories are school safety, school connectedness, and academic success and engagement. You'll see obviously the results are much more positive in our elementaries, and they decline a little bit as they go into middle school and high school. So probably haven't guessed that, but there's the data that supports it. So those are those 4 metrics that are included into our local measures. And
one.
Go ahead.
The survey for the kids,
Yes.
how do we get the surveys to them? Is it sent home or is it just certain teachers just do it?
It's electronic, and Dr. Brown will probably speak to it better than me, but I think you do it at the sites and the teachers administer it. Is that true? Good job. Push out to all students via transfer.
Yeah.
Okay, any more questions or comments? All right, there's no action on that. Thank you, Chad.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Next one is, we're gonna be looking at an administrative regulation related to some new rules with evaluation. And any additional administrative information? Okay, now we're moving on to board member comment. Board member Bob Miller.
Thank you. The reason I asked Dr. Anderson about the K-9 data info, and I just wanted to follow up what I asked publicly. I know it was in the Friday letter, but what I want to find out eventually, we don't have to do it now, is where the comparison is since we brought on the new SROs and we put our school safety as a priority. Has that been reduced over the last couple of years? Because as I look at the data here, it looks like we're doing a pretty good job. It looks like the K-9 hits are not that substantial for the whole district. There are some areas that we can probably work on, but, and I just wanted to report that out and do some comparables over a couple of years, because I think the new emphasis we put on safety as a board, especially with our new SRO team up there at the high school, that these numbers are really good. So I just wanted to report out on that after the follow-up. So that's where I was going. And then lastly, there's nobody really here that I wanted to talk to the teachers and stuff, but I just want to thank everybody for a great year. I think we did a lot of good stuff, and we don't get to brag on the great work that's done. And it was great dedication. Our teachers did a great job. They went above and beyond, even with all the the regulations and rules we put on them sometimes. I thought some of the engagements on our classroom visits were engaging. The teachers were motivated. They were supportive. Our students, it looks like they're excelling academically. We've got some good initial numbers coming in, it looks like, so that's good news. And you can tell the hard work and passion doesn't go unnoticed by us. I don't know how many are online, Lance. What, we got 4?
13.
Oh, right, we got 13, all right. So into our sports staff, their efforts behind the scene help everything that happens. A lot of them have been awarded that, even at the state level, Callie. I mean, that's good stuff. We're doing a good job. And, when you're in the office or in the cafeteria or in the library or maintain facilities, or there's just some notes I made, your contributions to make sure that our schools run effectively and efficiently are noticed by the board. We appreciate what you're doing. Your commitment to create a safe and welcoming space for our students to grow is well appreciated by all of us. I know we feel that way. And to our administrators that we ask questions about during a meeting, we appreciate your leadership and your vision. It's crucial in navigating the challenges we had this year. We handled it. Your ability to guide, support, and inspire our staff and students is commendable. And we appreciate your tireless dedication to fostering a positive school culture. And we know you care. And thank you for what you do. And we've filled the year with remarkable achievements. We've celebrated them in these meetings. And we have a great board that we enjoy working together. We're so thankful for what we do with our community. And let's look forward to the new year, but let's get some rest. Let's go summer, get rejuvenated, and we'll be ready and excited to build on what we've done for next year. So I just want to tell our folks that, all 8 of us sitting here and 13 online. So thank you very much for all the work you guys do. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob.
Just want to wish everybody a wonderful summer. I know there are those of you that are still working. I appreciate you. I hope you do have time to take off. Everybody enjoy your summer. I told one teacher, she came in and she said, 7 weeks. Oh no, it's 6 weeks now. And I said, stop that. Don't do that. No counting down. Nobody count down. No counting down the summer. Enjoy family, friends, and just take time for yourselves. So have a great summer.
Okay, thanks for being here, everybody. We appreciate you. We're adjourned.